Okay, third installment. So, um, I said I was going to try and see if I could get a video of a Native American man, but I've kind of determined that I really don't want to make somebody feel awkward that way. So I can describe to you that most of them are not physically well. They're very But their demeanor is very standoffish and timid, and their society is broken. Okay, so in lieu of that, as I indicated in my past video, that if I was not able to do that, that I would at least kind of let you see what one of their communities looks like, or maybe kind of give you a little Photoshop of that, photo shot or video shot of that. Okay, and the idea is to use another demographic that, as I indicated before, was a once healthy demographic. Had a history of being a strong society with certain degrees of either forceful or subliminal subjugation, has denigrated into the least economically powerful and least proficient demographic in our society today. Okay. Now, I have gone up the road a little bit to a community that's actually not on Native American land, but is a community that is adjacent. It's actually kind of in between the Laguna Reservation, Laguna Pueblo, which is the reservation immediately to the northeast of the Yakima, where I showed you the Acoma, Acoma, where I showed you the city on the hill, the ancient city on the hill, and kind of gave you the rundown of what happened to them. And the Laguna are they're direct relatives. They're in the same language group. They're pretty much descended from the same people. So, and of course, obviously, they're right next to each other. And on the way here, I passed one of the mines that I told you about that they used to operate, but it's on Indian land. And obviously, Indian land not really belonging to them, the federal government doing what they will. That's a closed mine. It's a huge uranium mine. And the backstory to that is when that mine was in operation, the peoples in this area were actually doing very well. So much so that there's actually it's not a city, but it's a large town of predominantly Hispanic and Anglo people on the other side of the mountain from where I'm sitting here. That mine not only employed most of the Native American people in this area, but several of them too. So pretty much it created a boom period from the late 1940s all the way up into the I want to say the 70s and 80s, before they started shutting things down. But the Native Americans, obviously, because it was an economic boon to them, tried to fight the mine being shut down for obvious reasons. But once again, as I told you before, because they are in fact a subjugated population, and on their reservation they actually have no real property ownership. Federal government being what they are, and the Environmental Protection Agency, predominantly populated by people on the left, and the Bureau of Indian Affairs, predominantly populated by people on the left, told them no, and that was the end of it. So, here we are some 30 or 40 years later in one of the adjacent communities. It's called Cebolleta. Okay. And the weather's kind of crappy outside, and I'm still a little sick, so I'm not going to walk around, but I'm going to let you view through the windshield and the windows some of these houses and the state of their community, just to see for your own eyes. You know, there used to be a funny show on in the 70s, early 70s, about a man and his son he was a sole proprietor who lived in a junkyard. And to many people that would be, okay, yeah, it presents a minority in being a businessman and stuff like that, but no. That show was pretty much about the same time as the blaxploitation type movies and stuff like that, which, again, just by coincidence, was in concert with, the war on poverty and Roe v. Wade. So an answer to the civil rights movement, where a guy who was portrayed as kind of being an ignorant junk collector guy who lived in less than ideal hygiene and economic circumstances, was put forward as a cultural norm. Think of that as you might will, okay? But this town looks like where that man lived in that show. Y'all getting the picture? So, this is Cebolleta. It's just off the reservation, but it is a predominantly Native American town. I'm going to flip my camera lens around, and I'm going to just kind of pan around and let y'all see. I'm going to turn it sideways, so that way you guys get a better view. Let's clean the windshield off. This is actually one of the nicer areas. Pretty run down. And to officials in the Bureau of Indian Affairs, they portend to have great concern for the conditions of these people that live out. That's what they say, but tacitly, it's accepted. It's just kind of allowed to just go on, and they'll give them handouts, and of course they're open to TANF and all the aid that you could imagine, but I've lived around these people my whole life, minus the years I was in service and living out of state, and their spirit is broken. It really is. And a lot of what happened to them over the course of history, initially it was by force, and the history books will tell you that. But over the last 100 years or so, just like with African American people, it's been subliminal. And it's kind of letting them buy into their own social, cultural, economic livelihood demise. It's really sad. look at the physical health of these people, and the diabetes, and they said that when COVID came through here, because of their health and probably because of their state of mind too, that it killed more of them per capita than it did any other demographic. Once again, why, Aaron, are we talking about American Indians? Because it is my firm belief that the majority of the Angry Man audience, this is where certain powerful entities in government and to the leftist society, even though they'll tell you to your face that they love you, this is where they want you. And you're right close. Right close. If anybody ever questions, any of y'all want to ever test out what I'm showing you, you think that I'm full of crap, or that this is hyperbole, or that it's not relative to your discussion, I challenge you to buy a plane ticket and fly into Albuquerque and come out to these places, or even just drive around that city and look at the demographics of this area and study the history of it. Really understand the history of it. Not just what you hear in the press, or not just what somebody would tell you to blow some smoke up your ass or whatever. These are talented people. I mean, their arts and crafts are beautiful. Their story, their history is wonderful. You can buy wonderful jewelry from them, but they're squelched. They're squelched. And it's never spoken aloud in open public. Well, I'm doing it now on a video, and my hope is, yes, Angry Man, that you do publish this. And if he does, it won't be squelched anymore. But this is the direction that y'all are being pushed. They say before colonization that there were 300 million Native Americans on this continent alone. I don't have the exact population numbers in my head right now, but if it's in the hundreds of thousands or low millions, that's probably, could be wrong, an optimistic estimate. But y'all are going to get mad and Angry Man going in on you, trying to speak frankly to you. Might even get mad at me. Might be mad at my ancestors. Yeah, I'm from a Southern family. Some of y'all might even carry my same last name, and I know why. And I'm sorry, I didn't do that, and that was wrong. But this is where it's going to wind up. If certain people, demographics, don't open their eyes and see what's really going on. And the answer to this is not to do like 2020 or to do, the crazy stuff that some people do. No. In my opinion, the answer is to set the bad sale aside. And like everybody else, like Angry Man tells y'all and me and everybody else, is to literally just stand up. And like we say in AA, I'm in a recovery group, do the next right thing. Who cares what other people think of you? I want you to live. So this is my third video. I'm sorry that I had to break it into 3 separate, because I'm not as technically proficient as Angry Man is, but this is Aaron Purdue signing out. Much love to all of my brothers and sisters in the Bino Nation.